trying to keep up with you, Betty.
Okay.
All right. We did the housing authority. How did you get connected with the housing authority? And what did you do there?
Well, when Mayor Miller was the mayor, she had it was a big kerfuffle going on with some of the board members that were doing some things that were not ethical.
Mm.
And so I was sitting in the plan commission meeting, and she run down there and asked me, would I please go out there outside and go, what?
That was how.
Go do what? So she asked me if I would please go. And without any thought, I said, well, if you need me to go, because I did have a housing department under Dallas County. So I
Right.
was very familiar with it. So I
Right.
knew that I had the expertise to do it. You know, I'm careful about that. If I don't have the expertise, you can't just send me somewhere and I don't know anything.
Well, I'm not quite sure I believe that. But go
well,
ahead.
I like, but anyway, she asked me. And so that very day, she said, well, submit your resignation to the city secretary. So I had to leave plan commission meeting as the chair, go submit my resignation to the plan commission.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so she could appoint me to the Dallas Housing Authority.
And she appointed you just like
that day.
That day.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh my goodness. Now you're down to, you mentioned another mayor. Laura Miller was one of the female mayors, the second female mayor we've had in the city of Dallas.
Right.
Because our shows are extended across oceans here. So I'm just trying to keep it with Betty and connect you
she was
to what we're talking
second,
about.
What, second or third? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And that Strauss was one. And then the other lady was first.
Yeah.
I remember the name.
They just passed away.
That's exactly right. So we've had female mayors before.
But Laura and Strauss were elected. The other, she was appointed after West Wise stepped down or whatever. She had been appointed.
Yeah.
And she didn't run for another, but Laura and Ned had been actually, elected.
Did it ever cross your mind to run for office or run for mayor or governor?
Well, only time it crossed my mind to run for office is when I saw that an incumbent was not doing what I felt they supposed to do. So I would just run. Mm-hmm. I would just run really to say, this is what you need to do. I never thought I was going to really win. I ran twice. I ran 3 times. I ran for school board when I thought Hollis was not, bless his heart, he's sweet as he can be, but he's gone on to glory. Then I ran for city council after Don stepped down.
Don Hill.
Yeah.
Okay.
I ran for city council and I lost. And it ended up in a runoff with Von Seer Hill, but because I had supported Laura Miller for mayor, my people, they hated Laura Miller so bad, they voted against me because I supported Laura Miller.
Okay.
So, but then they got Von Seer. And all other time I ran for commissioner in 2012, for county commissioner.
Well, I want your thoughts on Laura Miller's name is still damaged among Black people. Did she do us a disservice or did she do us a favor?
No, she didn't do Black people a disservice.
I mean, I'm talking about the stadium now.
No, but see that I'm glad you asked that question, so the truth can be told.
Thank you. I knew you would tell me the truth.
First of all, mm-hmm. The legislation that was passed allowed for a municipality or a county government to have a stadium authority, number one.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Number one.
Let that soak in a minute, because I did not know that.
Yes. Number two, the state law prohibit a athletic stadium being built in a state park. Dallas Love Field, Dallas Fair Park is considered a state park because it was built under this bicentennial, and it goes way back. Mm-hmm. That Cotton Bowl was fine but you could not tear down the Cotton Bowl and build another stadium. You could not build another stadium in the Fair Park. You can't do it. So you couldn't do that. So what Laura Miller did, Laura Miller was trying her best to work with the county, who is the authority. Okay. But what happened was Jim Jackson did not want the referendum to be on a November ballot
because he thought, commissioner at the time.
Yes, who was a Republican.
Okay.
And he thought if the stadium referendum would be on the ballot in November, it would screw the votes. because
Ah,
all
that's
the
right. That's right.
liberals
That's
and the
right.
black folks and everybody would come out for the vote.
Okay.
So Laura Miller did not lose the Dallas Cowboys.
You got to say that again because
That
I still
Laura Miller did not
conversation
lose the Dallas
that
Cowboys. The
conversation comes up
Dallas County
repeatedly.
Commissioners Court would not cooperate with Laura Miller because they were afraid that the referendum vote for that stadium was going to bring out all the black folks and all the liberal people, and they were going to lose some votes.
Now
So
you heard it here.
therefore, that's why Jerry Jones. But see, Jerry Jones knew what the legislation said. That's when I don't get people who don't never read nothing. Jerry Jones knew all he had to do was go to another county. The legislation was on the book. All you need to do is go to another commissioner's court, and they can use the same leverage. And that's what he did.
Yeah, he shopped around for a long time.
It wasn't really a long time.
Okay.
He had that ace in the hole out why Dallas City
Wow.
people was talking about, let's go here to the bottom and let's go. Jerry Jones already knew where he was going because he was tired of wavering back and forth. So if you want to blame anybody, you blame Dallas County Commissioners Court,
Right.
who at that time was controlled by the Republicans.
She's Betty Colbert. You heard the truth. I have answered
I
that
was
question.
there.
I've
I
answered-
worked there.
Yes.
I was there. I was
And you were on the
Commissioner
front
Price.
line. You were on the front line.
I was Commissioner Price's assistant. I knew exactly what was going on. We knew what was going on every day.
So why didn't the news media pick that up? Why didn't the Republican newspapers pick that up and tell the public the real truth? They had to have a scapegoat.
Why would they want to tell the truth?
Oh, well, we talk about the truth all of the time.
Remember, they didn't like Jerry Jones either. See, they still blaming Jerry Jones for firing Tom Landry when he had nothing to do with firing Tom Landry. That's a whole nother subject.
You are absolutely right. That came up.
Bum Bright fired Tom Landry.
And he was the owner at that time.
He was the owner. The Bright Bank.
Right.
The Dallas Cowboys was in bankruptcy. Jerry Jones brought them out of bankruptcy and told Bum Bright and the bankruptcy court, Jimmy Johnson is going to be my coach. The man didn't fire Tom Landry.
Wow. That came up just this past week with the Cowboys going to the playoff. And I said, well, why don't you like the Cowboys? Oh, well, he fired
No,
Tom
he did
Landry.
not. He did not. No, he did not. Bum Bright fired Tom Landry.
Look up Bum Bright. BUMBRIGH.
And he simply told, and he didn't really fire, he simply told Tom Landry the new owners are bringing their own coach.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody was unfair to anybody. But the public is not privy to this. They just want to blame somebody. And that's not the way it happened.
I'm going to take a break. She's Betty Colbert. She's our icon of significance for the whole state of Texas. This woman has affected so many lives. It is unbelievable. Don't go away. I'll be right back. You're watching Ester Davis. My special guest, my icon of significance, a black female who has done so much in this city. And we want you to know about it. We want you to get it from her and to quell some of the things that have been talked about. She's Betty Colbert. All right, let's go to something you've been talking about on Facebook.
Okay.
Now, I know where we live. This is Elm Thicket, the old and the new. It's Elm Thicket, North Park. It is the most expensive piece of real estate probably in the southern states. Would you say that?
Mm-hmm.
1944, the construction of the Elm Thicket Park began on land owned by neighboring Love Field Airport, but it was loaned temporarily to the Dallas Parks Department until needed for the airport expansion. Now, we're talking about the Love Field expansion. So in 1946, the Hector and Frank Building Companies filed with the city of Dallas the Greenway Terrace additions. The Greenway Terrace additions are oriented in the present northeast area of that particular neighborhood. We want you to know this because I need Betty to give you the rest of the story. The first development was located west of Kenwell Street, north of Hopkins Avenue, and north of Watiga Drive, and east of Roper Street.
But that wasn't for no black people.
That wasn't black people?
No, ma'am.
Okay. There was not black people.
No, ma'am.
Okay, what were they?
White people.
White people. Okay. So that's the first correction we need to make. Where were you in this where was your family home at that time?
Okay.
Betty Coburn, bring it on.
First of all, Elm Thicket is Elm Thicket because of the elm trees that grew and the vegetation was so thick. That's why it's named Elm
Thicket. Okay.
Elm Thicket started. Elm Thicket was on Lemon Avenue, back to where the black people lived, back to Roper. Across Roper was where the white people lived.
Okay.
University was a dividing line. If you go at Roper, University was a dividing line for the white and the blacks. So University, then down Roper, then up the side there, and Lemon Avenue was the boundary line of the real Elm Thicket. From where Park Place is right now, Park Place Mercedes is right now, all the way back up. If you're at Park Place and you headed toward Love Field, all along there on both sides of Lemon Avenue were black businesses, black people and black businesses. Yes, ma'am. My uncle had a Humphrey's hamburger stand right in the fork where Mockingbird Lane veers off to 4 lanes. Right in that, which is the curbing, was where Humphrey's hamburger stand stood.
So that's all wrong.
Yes, Clark Liquor Store was right there on Lemon Avenue.
Clark Liquor sure was.
Right there on Lemon Avenue.
Lemon and Hall?
Lemon, and Lemon and the little street that comes out. Kind of almost about a couple of blocks from Mockingbird.
Okay.
On Lemon, right there. That was Clark's Liquor Store. All of that wide in the Mockingbird Lane took in black businesses. Where Mockingbird Lane crosses Lemon, all of that was black business. The Coca-Cola Company had taken, Coca-Cola Company took us out, the Humphreys hamburger stand, all that. The Coca-Cola Company took that out because where the Coca-Cola sign used to stand is where Humphreys hamburger was. Wow. So Coca-Cola Company took us out, and Haggard Pants Company took the rest of the black people out. Okay, cross Mockingbird Lane, where is the entrance way to Love Field. All of those were black single-family homes that had been white, but after the war ended and all the black soldiers and things were coming home, the black soldiers were housed in the metal Quonset huts that was on Love Field property. See, that used to be the Army owned that property. That was the Army base over there. Where Love Field is was the Army base.
So that's how they acquired the land.
That's how they got the land. The government owned the land. Those were metal Quonset huts over there for the blacks to live in, but the white soldiers lived in wooden barracks over there. See, it was wooden barracks and it was metal barracks.
Now, behind Love Field, was the lake still there then, or they just put that lake in?
The lake was there, but it wasn't as big and like that. But the lake was there. But all the way back to Bachman were those huts where the soldiers lived.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where the soldiers live.
In huts.
In the huts back there, and the white soldiers lived in too, but they call theirs barracks, and they call the black ones huts.
Huts, of course. Okay.
So when the black soldiers started wanting to move out, the whites who were living in those frame homes right there, they start selling those homes to the black soldiers under the GI Bill. That's how all that got started. That's how all those black people were there. Those were black homeowners.
We got wait. You taking me much too fast here because I am so now. I can see why you're so mad about this.
Yeah.
I can see why you're so vocal about it, and you got people stirred up right now because now they're saying Betty is right. They were not renters.
No, they
They were
own those homes. My brother-in-law, Emory Barnes, and my sister live right there. Uh, the girl who was Desiree Moore, who was the first black model with Kim Dawson, her family, them live there. All of us, because we all went to Booker T. Washington High School together.
Right,
Those
right.
were black single family homes that they owned. That they owned.
It's a big controversy today because number one, what you're telling us, they're telling us a bunch of lies again.
Well, these new young people.
These new
See,
young people.
But see, the new young people, they moved in across Roper. They don't know nothing about when
Okay.
black people wasn't across Roper. See, they think, bless their heart, they think the black people always over there. Now, Miss Blair and them integrated Robin Road and that side of Roper.
Okay.
Miss Blair, W.A. Blair and them,
Yeah.
that's who bought up and started and integrate that whole section over there. They was the first
Now,
black
Sam
families to
Holmes
move over
lives
there.
over there.
Yeah, and
He moved
all
in
of
later.
them moved over there
Okay.
behind Miss Blair and them integrating that area. Now I'm telling you what I know, I ain't telling you what I heard.
Wow.
A.W. Blair and Miss
A.W.
Blair.
And they were real estate people.
Yes, and they saw the vision and they bought and they integrated and they told everybody else, y'all come on. And when soon as they came in, the white folks started putting their houses up for sale. Yeah, there wasn't no black people over there. And over there on Stiegel, where my family finally ended up being, those are all white people.
Let that stay up for a minute for me, please. The Hillard Golf Course was dedicated in 1950 by the Dallas Negro Golf Association as the nation's first Negro golf course.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1954, the city of Dallas took the land back along with most of the west and southwest portion of Elm Thicket for Love Field expansion.
Yes, ma'am, they did.
Now tell me about that.
Well, they took it and they eminent domain, they just took it. And all those people, they bought them out. Most of the people moved. The people who lived there, they bought. Now, some of them went to Singing Hills. Some of them went further north. But a lot of them moved to Singing Hills back then.
Okay.
And they first started
That's
integrating
a long way
Singing
down.
Hills.
I mean, that's all the way
wherever
up,
they was trying to find something comparable to what they had.
Yeah. Okay.
And see, and a lot of them, some came to Arlington Park where my dad and them went. Yeah. We went to Arlington Park. See, that was before Hampton Park started. They went, because it was 1949. We went to Arlington Park. A lot of them came to Arlington Park also. Then when Hampton Park started, then a lot of them went to Hampton Park. But they took it, they took that land and all those people had to move. In fact, when my sisters, they bought their land, and my sister's husband worked for American Airlines, but they went and bought a house over on Spence Street. So they were just kind of looking for somewhere comparable and single family homes in a nice neighborhood.
But that's you only had one black school at that time.
You think we didn't all ride the same bus to go to that one school? We all went to that same school.
The same bus.
We had school buses that picked us up from every neighborhood and brought us to those schools. Yeah, and the kids from Carrollton came all the way.
So you had to get up about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, put your child on a bus to go to that one black school.
Yes, ma'am. Uncle Taft was the bus driver.
Uncle Taft.
Uncle Taft was the bus driver. He would go through Eagle Ford. He would start out in Carrollton, go through Eagle Ford, come on through Arlington Park, and come on through North Park, and pick us all up. Yeah.
I am so happy we're recording this so that you can refer to it at any time. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on the Good News Network. It will be with Don Willis at Power Play. So you can get this history. It is so important. We can't continue to live with these naysayers that don't know what they're talking about.
And see, I don't. And when they first called me about the North Park thing, and I tried to tell the young people who tried to talk to me, and I didn't want to be ugly because I wanted to tell this young man, I won't tell him so bad. The only reason you there is because you in your grandparents' house. You don't know the history. I understand about you being feeling like you feel and blah 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 blah, but you don't know the history. You don't know how they got there. There's a how they got there, and said that was a progression of how they got there, and where you live is not Elm Thicket. You not in Elm Thicket.
So you're bringing up a big, big, big subject here, that crucial race theory, because we don't want this in the history books, because there are those people that don't want the world to know what the real story is or what the real truth is.
And the reason they named it North Park is because they didn't want to be, these people over here never wanted to be part of Elm Thicket. They didn't want, no, we not Elm Thicket, we North Park.
So we're going to rename it.
Exactly. And the sophisticated blacks went along with the North Park. Yeah, I just tell it like it is.
Oh, yeah, you do.
They didn't want to be a part of Elm Thicket either, because by that time, Elm Thicket, they were frame homes and they had kind of worn, so they were over there in the brick, and they were over there in the brick homes and everything. So they kind of didn't want to be over here. But see, even those people didn't realize all those businesses and things that used to be up there, black businesses, owned and operated by black people, laundries, cleaners, bookstores, you name it, and they had it. Grocery stores, all of that was there.
Your uncle told me, Mr. Alto, his last couple of years, I would visit him. He said there was a lot of alteration people that sold.
Oh yeah.
And because he had his uniforms for the funeral home done a certain way with certain things on them. And
you know how particular he was about.
Oh, yes. It was his cufflinks, everything had to be in proper order. The starched collars on everything. But he bought the people, he said one time there was a Fannie Lou dress shop somewhere.
They had a lot of really good tailors. They were tailors. All over on Holland and Thomas, they tailor shops.
Yep.
And they did all of that. Yeah, they did.
So they had their clothes made and they took them to the tailors, and
because back then you could not try on, black people couldn't try on clothes at the major department stores. So people would rather go and have their clothes tailored and made rather than put up with that mess going downtown and couldn't try on clothes. See, it was the reason why they wanted to do that.
Woo! An hour is not long enough.